Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to a video, and today we're going to be checking out the T-Motor 5147, which is their brand new racing propeller. And now right away, let's just get it out of the way. You probably notice it looks pretty similar to this gemfan 5146.6. Let me get actually the same pitch so we can better compare here. So if you hold them up side by side, you can see these props look really similar. And then if we compare the pitch, so we have the T-Motor on the bottom here, and you can see very similar blade profiles, but the T-Motor has a much larger, much more pronounced scoop there at the bottom, which probably makes sense for its higher pitch. So the prop itself, I'm actually really hoping and really expecting, just for how similar it is to the gemfan prop, to have a nice moderate high speed and a really nice control, because this gemfan prop has really good control. The only reason I don't use it too much, especially for racing, is it's just too flimsy. It'll break. If we weigh the gemfan prop here, it weighs 4.07 grams, so pretty darn light. The T-Motor itself is coming in at 4.53, so a little bit heavier, half a gram heavier, but I'm hoping, you can probably tell already, this thing is definitely more durable and more stiff, so hopefully that pans out. And then this is the prop I raced right now. This is gemfan 5149.9 Hurricane, and that's 5.2, so it's definitely a very hefty prop, but with that heft definitely comes some more durability, which is very useful on the racetrack. So it'll be interesting to see how the T-Motor holds up. One of the awesome things about the prop is you can see they have really nice colors. This translucent blue on the quad. I have their nice lime green, fits my TPU prints very well. They have smoke gray, they have red, they got orange, all types of props. And just to note, they do come in this package. Not a huge fan of this big bag. It comes in a set of 10 for $8. Pretty good price, but I prefer these little tiny bags. They're just so easy to have a set and resealable in. But you know, that's alright. It's not too big of a deal. So that was just a quick intro for the T-Motor 5147. You can see also, just real quick mentioning, it is Popo compatible. Pretty much all props are nowadays. So let's go ahead and do some line of sight and then FPV, and we'll bring it back and I'll tell you my thoughts on these guys. Alright, so here we are outdoors with the T-Motor 5147 on my Nexus build. So let me just run down the components just so you get an idea what I'm using. The frame is the Nexus, my own custom frame from Tiny's LEDs. The motors are the Weather Hobby R6 2207 1750 kV. We have some race wire and race lights. The ESC is a Power Drone 4-in-1, flight controller, white noise FP Synergy, TBS V3 VTX, TBS Crossfire Nano, Immortal T, Lollipop, Foxeer Predator version 4, a little flip stick up top for turtle mode, of course T-Motor props, and then the battery is a Tattoo R-Line V3 6S 1300 milliamp hour battery. So let's get her plugged up. Alright, and there we go. Let's just bring it off out in the field here. The sun is pretty low. It's about 5 o'clock. So I'm just going to come to the left a little bit. Hopefully let you guys see the quad a little better. So hopefully you can tell just from those punches right there. Look how responsive these props are. Number one best thing about these props, definitely. Just how responsive and tight gripping they are. It really makes turns nice. They just hold so locked in, these props. A lot of immediate punch. Let's come over here for a full speed pass. Probably missed that. I can't really see myself because of the sun in my eyes there. But definitely pretty fast props, not as fast as some other meatier props. It is a very thin blade design. But in just general comparing this to gemfan 5146.6, I think this is the most similar prop to it. It is definitely a little bit faster. And that's why I was really excited to try this prop when T-Motor first came out with it. because the gemfan was great, it just needed a little bit more power and more durability for me as a race propeller. And I think this fills a lot of the gap. Gemfan is a little bit more freestyle, and this one has more power, more speed, which a little bit, and durability, which is more suited towards racing. Just really sounds so clean. You can tell the motors are really reaching a high RPM. Just really solid. Just out of the box. Just when comparing it to my gemfan 5149.9, which I usually fly, which is a pretty meaty prop, this thing, it just sounds totally different. It flies a lot snappier, almost like I have higher rates. This thing just really hooks into it. Now I don't want to kill this battery. Forgot to start my timer as usual. But yeah, these props, really, really nice in the battery. Barely warm there. Motors are a little bit warm. They're definitely not burning them. They're about right where the line I'd say is, but it's about 80 degrees out. And as well as these motors are tuned for the gemfan props, not these. Definitely getting a little bit more prop wash on this, so I need to lower my P gains, which makes sense because the motor has so much more control from the prop. It doesn't need the compensation from the flight controller, so it does need tuned a little bit, but perfectly fine for line of sight here. So let's move on to some FPV that I got with these guys, and then we'll finish up the review. Alright, and here we have some footage from the T-Motor 5147, and this was flying on the same setup as the quad that I flew for the line of sight section you guys just saw. So this was at a practice day, and now this is a part of the Multi-GP 2019 Global Qualifier track. We only set up a few sections of it. We didn't have enough gates. We were just scouting out this new location here. Also, I didn't want to break this build at the time, so I wasn't going super hard, so I apologize for the flying. It's not as fast as it could be, but hopefully you can tell that the props are really just nice and locked in. I don't know how well you can tell, but as soon as I put them on, it went where I wanted it to go more than it was. It didn't really drift as much, and it was just really, really snappy. It's kind of hard to explain. If you ever flown a really heavy prop back to back with a really light prop, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Your motors just spin up really fast and it tracks really well. So I'm just going to let as much footage as I have play out, and then we'll go ahead and finish up the review. I'll let the footage speak for itself. You've got one life to live. She's singing. You've got one life to live. Don't let it go. Don't let it go. Alright, so here we are back after that testing, and hopefully you can tell from my reaction as well as the footage, I am definitely really enjoying these propellers. Hopefully once again you can see this is the quad that I use on my Nexus here. These props were pretty much exactly what I expected. Very similar to this gemfan 5146.6. It's kind of interesting since the gemfan actually produces this prop for T-Motor. So it's just a little coincidence in the design there, super similar. But just with the scoop being more pronounced and a little bit heavier and meatier overall, it is a little bit more durable. I did try these racing a little bit. I did have some crashes. They're not super durable. They're definitely not as durable as Cyclones or these gemfan Hurricanes here. They're just a lighter prop. So that's definitely, for racing, I'm still a little skeptical. For line of sight flying, absolutely all the way. These are the props that I'm going to use for line of sight. Just straight up saying that. I have a bunch of them here. Definitely going to be using these for line of sight. They're just so responsive, and they have pretty much the perfect speed that I ever want. For line of sight, that's the best combination. A lot of speed. You don't need to worry about durability. I don't really crash too much line of sight, and if I do crash, it's not a big problem. Whereas in a race, you need to keep going, so blade durability is a big issue. So I know a lot of people are actually racing these gemfan 5146.6, and that's not, and that's awesome. They're flying great, and these piles are flying extremely fast. I myself just don't do it because when I clip a gate and I hit the ground, I don't want to have a blade completely smash. And now that's not to say that the T-motor cannot smash into the ground and bend a blade just as badly. However, on most little crashes, say where you just hit a gate, you don't necessarily smash into the ground with the quad, the T-motor has held up a lot better for me than the gemfan. And that's just due to it having a lot more material, especially around this center section. So you can see it bends farther out, whereas the gemfan, you know, it bends really a lot farther in. It's just a really thin prop. So just to wrap up, I am definitely a huge fan of this prop. Once again, for my line of sight flying, if I'm not testing a different prop, these are the props that I will be using. I'm not quite convinced on racing yet, just because I'm a little worried about the durability, but I will be testing them more going forward. I just can't change them right now because I have a few important races coming up. So it's good to stick with what you already know, which is the Hurricane for me. In terms of freestyle, I do have a couple sets of the gemfan for my freestyle quads, and I think the T-motor will do really well also for freestyle. However, the gemfan definitely does pull less amps. It definitely is more efficient, which is a little more suited to freestyle, and you're not going to be crashing as much, or at least the crashes aren't as big as a deal if you broke a blade. So I'd say the gemfan for freestyle and the T-motor for racing is currently my opinion. And then if you need a more durable blade, obviously you can go with something like the Hurricane or the Cyclone. So yeah, that's going to be my review for the T-motor 5147. Definitely good job by T-motor. So there'll be links down below in the description if you're interested. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.